From the center of the galaxy, live on a Monday for Star Wars questions. This is ForceCenter, show about Star Wars pop culture, the ultimate adventure life itself. I'm Ken Knapsack.
And I'm Jen Landa.
It's Ken and Jen in the morning. Kind of.
Jen and
afternoon.
Jen.
We're here to bring you...
Sorry, go ahead.
We're here to bring you Coruscant's best traffic news and weather right here today. Here we go. First of all, as you can see, Joseph Grimshaw is out today, traveling for film-related work reasons. He'll be back for the Andor review later this week. The light and fluffy Andor review that I'm sure we'll have this week, Jen. But you and I are here, hold down the fort, talk some Star Wars questions.
That's right. Someone is already asking if there's going to be spoilers for Andor because they are behind. Are we? Yeah, will there be?
Well, no. JB, I have a solution, JB. Just watch Andor right now. Just go watch it right now. Don't watch us. Go watch Andor. All right, yeah, we'll keep that in mind. We don't have to go deep into the spoilers. It might come up, though. Yeah. We do have some people. So, JB, I'll just say this. Most likely, spoilers.
Most likely.
Questions will come in. We have a main question we're going to get to in a bit, but I want to take questions from all of you. So if you have a question and Jen and I see it, we'll start and we'll come back to it. Also, if you got a super chat, those always are wonderful. Of course, they help support the show, but it also the bright colors on our screen, we see it a lot easier. That's the sound inside my brain today, Jen.
I love it. Yes, flashing colors. That's what appeals to me.
Yeah, it's one of those days. On the news show, which we already recorded, which comes out tomorrow, we go in a little deeper on our May 4th extravaganza events, Jen. But it'd be weird to not address it now. So happy belated Star Wars Day to everyone. Though it is here, it's May the 5th and May the 6th. I get it. We could go for a long time with the word puns, but May the 4th. Is the day. So Jen, what'd you do?
I went to the Academy Museum earlier in the day than you went, which you went at night. But I went for a screening of The Phantom Menace. Ahmed Best was there. He was not scheduled to appear when I bought the tickets initially. I was just like, oh, cool. We're going to go see The Phantom Menace. It's obviously kid appropriate, even though I would have loved to have seen Revenge of the Sith. But, you know, I digress. So he made a special appearance and it was so cool. He spoke for about 45 minutes and I could have listened to 2 hours more. He was talking about his history with Stomp, how he got the role. A Lucasfilm casting director happened to be at his performance of Stomp. And he ended up kind of taking the job away from his friend who had auditioned, which was very, it's complicated, right?
It happens.
It happens. Yeah. And he was just talking about like the technology and working with George Lucas. And he also talked about how Star Wars has always been political, which was met with cheers. And he talked about how, George said it, Star Wars in a long time ago, a galaxy far, far away, so that the message would be easier to receive. You know what I mean? It's like, we can learn from this other galaxy, but it's actually very relevant to what's happening in our world today and even back then.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, one last thing I'll say is he talked about the importance of Kelleran Beck, his character. He's really passionate about it because Kelleran Beck is a teacher and he feels that teachers should be able to see themselves on screen. He mentioned that he is a teacher at Stanford. Did you all know that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's like a professor, right?
Yes, he's a professor of like a futurism class. I was like, oh, wait, the screening has to start, but I want to hear more about this. Oh, it's so cool. He is so accomplished and so passionate about his work and being a storyteller. I love him. It was great.
Blessed to have him. I saw that he was speaking, and I did not acquire my tickets. Shout out to our buddy Alda Diaz, who I think months ago purchased a ticket for me and said, "You're going. You're going to be there. Rise of Skywalker, 7:30 Academy." So it was a lot of fun. But I saw that Ahmed was there, and one of my buddies, Alex Marzonia, a lot of you might know Marzonia from the Wangers world, in the Schmodown world. He works at the Academy Museum, and I was like, hey, so did you get Daisy to come to this one? Is Daisy here? Is Oscar Isaac here? Where's JJ? I'll take JJ Abrams. Where are they?
He's in LA. Come on. He's in Santa Monica.
Yeah. Oh, that's a short drive. Just pop in a Gracie Abrams CD in the car and just listen and come on over. Come on, JJ. Come on, JJ.
Oh my
But a lot of
gosh.
fun. And it was my first time at the Academy Museum and my first time at LACMA down there in like 20 years. Back when it was just that building that the Academy's in was just LACMA. Now it's expanded and it's wonderful. And you just go to the tar pits regularly and all that stuff. But it was a lot of fun, Jen. I felt like I was in my city.
Mm,
I was feeling
yeah.
LA.
Right? The
Yeah.
magic is there in those moments where I'm like, oh, that's right. This is Hollywood. This city has a lot of
Hollywood, baby.
history, and the
Hmm.
Academy Museum is so great. Just showing the film was on film. My husband reminded me
Yeah.
of that when I was watching it. I was like, oh, it's kind of like there's some grainy parts, which is
When you got
really
to
interesting.
see Puppet Yoda.
Oh, yeah. Puppet Yoda. Yeah. There
Yeah.
were so many things where I was like, wow. And he said, notice the red dot on the side where they have to change the reel. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, it's such a
That's,
rarity.
yeah.
Such a delight.
A lot of fun. A lot of fun. Yeah, we go in deeper tomorrow, so we're happy to answer any questions about that. Shout out to Eli, who was there as well. Good to hang out with
Yeah.
Eli, and our buddy Brady, 8984M, was there as well, with Alden and Nikki Kumar and others. So it was a good night. I didn't get a chance to eat in the restaurant, though, Jen.
Me
So maybe
neither.
next time. Okay.
Yeah.
Dreams can come true. It's always about the food for me. And you had a wonderful effort. You go into a lot more detail tomorrow on tomorrow's episode, so we're teasing that. But you had that hat. There you go. Beautiful. And you
This is
made
even
this.
more ridiculous. I did. Shout out to Dapper Docs on Instagram. I was initially going to make they have a Disney Parks Jar Jar hat. Could not
Right.
find it anywhere except for like $200. I'm like, that's not going to happen. So I just got a baseball hat. This is felt. This is like a velour fabric, the ears. And this was the hardest part, were the eyes, to get them to stand up. But I finally got it. I'm quite pleased. I'm going to wear it.
Quite pleased. And she said in a hat that I would have purchased at a store. How long did it take you to make that? Because this is not the only thing you made. You made a full-on Padme light dress for a 5-year-old.
Yeah, this one took 4 hours, 3 hours. It was just the engineering, and this was like done at 2 a.m. So my brain wasn't really working. But the Amidala headdress, it was a beast. I was so frustrated with. I mean, eventually it worked out. My kid was very happy wearing it. She loved it, but I needed more time than a day and a half to make it. It was rough.
A day and a half to make that dress and that hat? Come on.
Just the hat.
Oh,
yeah,
just the hat?
I bought the dress. I bought the dress off of eBay.
Oh,
It's like
okay.
a Ruby's costume, but it didn't come with a headdress. And so I asked her. I was like, Alea, do you care if you have the headdress or not? And she's like, I need the headdress. I'm like, the makeup too? She's like, yes, Mom, I have to be queen. I'm like, okay.
Have to be queen.
Yeah, and she wore it the whole day, and not the headdress, we took it off, but she was like, I'm queen, and she loves it because her big sister kind of runs the show, so she was Queen Amidala for the day.
That is wonderful. No, that is okay. Yeah, even just making the hat. That's yeah. You got to have the come on. I once went to a Kiss concert in Peter Criss makeup, but I didn't have the rest of the outfit, so it didn't look right. You got to go in, you go or nothing. You got to go full cosplay or not.
Full queen or not.
Got to commit.
Yes.
All right, we do have a question. Like I said, if any of you has specific questions outside of our main topic, we'd love to discuss those today for the hour that we're here. But we love hanging out with all of you and dealing with our big question of the day. And Amaranth says, "Big sisters do run the show."
Yep.
So there we go.
I'm a big sister.
All right, Jen.
Yep.
We got this question from Brandy Kohler. And Brandy says, hello, ForceCenter friends. With the astronauts returning to Earth after being in space for 9 months, this was, of course, recently, something popped into my mind about something someone told me years ago. That was, you can't like Star Wars if you don't like space. Let me explain. When I was younger, 3rd grade, I was diagnosed with seizures. When I'd have a seizure, I'd see space and the planets would come towards me, literally about to hit me before going around me. Being a young child, of course, seeing those things would be scary. And since I have no interest in going to space, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy a good stargazing and looking at the moon, but going to space scares me. But when this person, forgot who it was, found out that I was a Star Wars fan, but not a fan of space, they just had to question why I was a fan of a franchise set in space when I don't like our space. So my question is, do you really have to like space in order to enjoy Star Wars? Or can you just enjoy Star Wars as it is, regardless if you like space or not? Also, Brandy adds, has anyone ever said anything weird like this to you? Thank you, and may the Force be with you. I mean, 11 plus years of doing this, there's a lot of things that come our way, but this is not even close to the weirdest thing we've ever asked. So, Jen, space, The Final Frontier, that's another franchise, but how does it factor into your love of Star Wars? Oh, I think you're muted. Muted.
I'm muted. I'm
Muted.
sorry.
Muted.
I was like toggling between the question, and I was just going to say that, Brandy, this is a totally understandable reaction that you would have, and why you would not be so fond of space. For me personally, I
Yeah.
was interested with space as a child, and then I'm not very good with science, and I certainly don't know very much about the science of space. But that's why I think I gravitated more towards Star Wars as opposed to Star Trek. I'm just making a total generalization, but the people that
Sure.
I knew that were more focused on Star Trek, they understood science and they got better grades in science than I did. Whereas I felt like the Star Wars community was a little bit more of a mix. You do have a lot of like science experts and people
Sure.
who love science who will be like, actually. But for the most part, Star Wars is very welcoming to those of us who are, who are deficient in our rules of space.
Yes.
And as somebody said, where is it? They just said this. Star Wars is more about the wars and less about the wait, where was that? Darn it, I lost it. But you know what I mean. I'll find it. Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Physics buddy Joe says Star Wars is more
Physics
about the
buddy Joe.
wars than the stars. Exactly.
And anyone with physics in their username I'm considered an expert. That's an expert.
Me too.
Right there.
Yes.
First of all, this is a very great question, and we appreciate, as always, as Joseph likes to say, our questions aren't our main topic questions aren't simple. They have a lot of context, and Brandy is sharing some real life context there and how you're describing it, Brandy. Like Jennifer said, I'd be okay not liking space too. I think what you're describing, I'm like, that's good. For me, I think you and I are very similar, Jen. And I've said before, I don't even consider Star Wars sci-fi. I get it. I don't fight science fiction fantasy. It's more fantasy myth to me, but that's getting in the weeds of things, because it has inspired people. And there's a lot of people that Star Wars, they've looked to the stars and said, I want to see what's out there. Star Trek has, I think, the reputation of more of that. But yeah, you and I, all of us, probably people in the audience, have run into people like, oh yeah, I'm a professor of this because I saw an X-wing fly. I think that's part of the legacy. So I don't fight that at all. And also, it's interesting, part of the legacy, this so well, is all of us just watching the ILM Season 2 doc. Check that out if you haven't, the Light and Magic stuff. Both seasons are great. Star Wars inspired so many of those minds who are of a very scientific, analytical, and creative mindset. A John Knoll, who can come up with some great stories or concepts and designs, but also, develop Photoshop with his brother. Like, Star Wars has inspired a lot of those people. So it's always part of its legacy,
Would you ever want to go to space?
No.
Yeah,
So that's where I really do understand this question, and would not argue with the person telling Brandy that you have to like space. I'm not afraid of it. I love NASA stuff. I have some acquaintances in town who helped land the Mars rover and everything, and I'm fascinated by what they do, and JPL, all that stuff locally. Totally there for that. But I'm kind of my interest in space did kind of stop the first time, and it wasn't Neil deGrasse Tyson on Twitter, but it was like the first time 30 years ago I discovered that, the X-Wings and TIE fighters wouldn't necessarily move like that, and they definitely wouldn't sound like that. Then I was kind of like, you know what, I'm good. I'm going to stick to Star Wars. You all Star Trek around. I'm going this way.
Yeah, I would be terrified. As you know, I hate flying. So it's just
Yeah.
even when the what was it, the girl glam squad, the Katy Perry that went up into
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Even that was like, no, thank you. No, thank
Yeah.
you.
Hmm.
Yeah, as
I'm
Kate
with you.
9 for I'd love to go to the Star Wars version of space.
Yes.
Exactly. Now we're talking.
Yeah, to the true sci-fi fantasy, that science fiction fantasy realm, like that is what I'd like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, anything like that. But and Star Trek too. Star Trek, the science works for me. I get it, but like, yeah, I'm playing. I just finished the story of Star Wars Outlaws, the video game with Kay Vess and everything, and enjoyed it. Fun game, but I got through it. But now I'm glad because I can go explore the planets that you can go to in that game, and that's the kind of space I want, where you just get in a ship and you press a couple buttons, and then you're at the next planet. Like
Mm,
that's what I'd want.
mm.
That's what I want. Not some Christopher Nolan. Well, that would
Oh
actually
god.
take 2 trillion years off your life. Or something. Nah, I don't need that. I
Oh
don't
my
need that.
gosh. Yeah, no. If I knew that there was a bunch of like fun planets out there to explore in the galaxy, yeah, I'd be all for it. That would
Hmm.
entice me. But as of now, no, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Some question or some reactions in here. Matthew Stokes said, "No, space is really hard. It's incomprehensibly massive, and nearly all of it you will kill you horribly." Yeah, have you ever heard like the sounds of space where there's sometimes that gets released? You can find it on YouTube or somewhere. It's just like, here's the actual sounds of space. It's just wind and what sounds
Yeah.
like screaming or I'm out. I'm out. It's too big for me. Too big for me.
It's too big. Yeah, I don't like that the galaxy goes on and on and on and on. Don't talk to me about it. I don't wanna know. I
You
don't
don't
wanna
know.
know. Ugh.
Okay, yeah. You don't think there's a big that you just keep going and you hit just a big round and flat ice wall? You don't think that's it? You don't
Uh,
think we just everything stops at a ice wall? No.
Nice well, no, I don't wanna
Okay.
think about I don't wanna I need to focus, like, otherwise I start kinda having a panic attack, so I just focus on the here and now.
Okay.
I'm recording with
Okay.
Ken. We're on ForceCenter.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to panic. I was gonna ask you. I know you have your fear of flight. You on an other center episode, you went into that a little bit, and you had good reason. After you actually described it, you had the turbulence incident in your youth,
Yeah.
right? Or
Yeah,
like
it's horrible, yeah.
it's like okay, Jen's not. I don't want to take it away from anyone, but I used to be very afraid of flying, and now I'm not. And now I'm so sometimes I have to admit I get a little when someone's like, I don't like flying. I'm like, oh, shut up, get on the plane. Like a little bit of like, get on the plane. But hearing your story is like, oh yeah, I get that. Um, I but I too think of the plane and going. It's in my head. I've seen Final Destination. Every time I'm
Yeah.
bored, I wonder. Don't worry. I do a
Mm.
lot of praying when I get on a plane. But for some reason, do you think flying around in Star Wars space, which we'll call it, I'm less afraid of crashing. Those ships just seem to they're gonna go.
They seem very it's rare that there's a problem, or if there is a problem, like, a droid can handle it, like,
Yeah.
someone's on it. Like I saw last night, R2 can come and save the day.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I can rely on that. I mean, unless there's an asteroid field, okay, that's problematic. Or, I
Yeah.
encounter the Empire or whoever, the First Order, right? But
Yeah.
hopefully I'll be minding my own business and I won't get stopped. Where I'll
Right.
just have to hide and you can talk to them. You can talk to the officers and I'll just go hide
Okay. That's
in the
fair.
cape
That's fair.
closet.
That's
Uh,
fair. Eli, who again I saw last night, good to see Eli at the Academy Museum. I'm incredibly interested in space as a quote concept, but I'd never actually want to go to space, at least right now. But Star Wars has really never been about the science to me. I agree with that. And
mhm.
who else? Oh yeah, Electric Knight said this. I love to experience a view from space, but I hate the journey there. Yeah, I'm with that too. I'm with
Mhm.
that too. Like you talk about the Katy Perry led crew, right? She got in there and piloted up there. I've like, yeah, I same thing. I love views. I have a fear of heights slash falling, but I love to be
Mm,
high up.
mm.
When I finally calmed down long enough at the top of the Eiffel Tower, like I loved it. It just my entire body was shaking and convulsing getting off the elevator up there. But once I got over that, so same thing, the traveling into space. Look, I don't want to make light of a tragedy, but Jen, you and I are Challenger kids.
Oh
I
my
got,
gosh.
I got, I got,
Oh,
yeah, I got pulled out of school,
yeah.
and that like we were like that is in my head every time I think about going to space. You know,
Oh
not
my
making
gosh.
light of
Wait,
it,
when was
but it's
that?
in
Was it
effect.
84? Was that
86,
84?
86, 86.
86. Oh God, yeah, I do have memories of that. When I was in school, it was so horrible. It was so
Horrible,
horrible.
horrible, because it was made up. We were all and so a lot of
Oh
times
God.
when even just looking at Bezos's Blue Origin and or whatever, Elon's got all those guys in their billionaire space race. Like, I'm not even going up that. Props to Shatner for doing it and Katy Perry. I'm not going that far. I couldn't. I'd be terrified of that.
Yeah, any sort of voyage where it seems like potentially dangerous. I just think of the one that went underwater. I don't want to go underwater either. I don't want to go in space. I don't want to go in underwater
Underwater.
in a tiny sub, whatever that
Well,
contraption was that they had.
and the truth is, the aliens are probably underwater. That's what most prevailing theories are. They're probably coming up, not down. That's
Oh, really? Is that what the theory is?
Don't get me started, but yes.
It's not just James Cameron. What was that? What was that one?
He might be an
loved
alien.
that
Who
one.
know? Who knows why Cameron goes underwater? David McKay is right. Shatner's the actual first pop star in space. Lucy in the sky with diamonds. There you go. Reference for all you old people. Other things coming here. It's the other responses, Jed. If you see any, grab it. 898 for I'm talking about Star Wars itself. Yep, it's a fantasy set in space. Actual scary space stuff in space. The silence, its vastness, and loneliness doesn't factor in as much as a fantasy. Though, I had a little bit that sorry, J&B, warning, spoiler warning. One little moment in like the first or second episode of this season of Andor when that TIE fighter kind of stalls out in space and Andor's just in space floating trying to hotwire it. I'm thinking,
Oh my
that's not going to go well. I wouldn't do well in that. I wouldn't do well in that.
No, I would not. I'd be freaking out. Joshua Bernard, thank you. The Abyss. I loved that movie. That was really groundbreaking with the type of visual effects.
It was indeed.
Oh, going back to the Challenger, Big Lou's Clubhouse. I remember watching it in the school in the cafeteria live on TV. Oh my goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
I repressed that so much. I completely forgot about it.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's one of those days. It's an other center discussion point. We'll take other center questions today too as well. It doesn't always have to be about Star Wars. But yeah, that was one of the first. Big ones I was aware of just something happening in the world. Reagan assassination I remember, but I'm too young. Lenin assassination I remember only because a neighbor showed up at our house crying, and he looked like John Lennon. So I have memories of that early in my life. But Challenger's the first like. You're very aware of it. 10. I was 10 when that happened. So,
wow.
Yeah. Gopal says, "Thank you for the super chat. I remember we had a teacher work day when the Challenger disaster happened, and they broke into super password with the news. Yeah, those breaking news. I think did we talk about the other center before? But like I've talked about this other shows. But like you and I also grew up in the era of if you happen to be home, teacher work day, you're sick, or you're just you're doing your homework because it's 4:00 in the afternoon, and your show is interrupted with a breaking news logo. That was the sign of bad things. And now in the era of 24-second news, and we all just go to social media, I think that's less impactful. But for our generations, that was like you dropped your fork if you're eating dinner. Like, what's happening? Oh God, something bad.
That's really fascinating. I've been wondering this just because of my kids and other kids. I feel like kids are more sheltered from this kind of stuff because unless I relay that information to them, they're not going to necessarily know about it unless it's discussed in class, which is a very safe way of discussing about it, it as opposed to experiencing it live where there's like no filter. You are watching this tragedy happen. Very, very interesting.
Right.
I mean, I try to have frank discussions with my kids about these things, but still, like I can offer that layer of protection for them, which I don't know if that's good or bad, right?
Unless they get their own accounts, I don't know. Let's say have a secret Blue Sky account at 10 or something. I think about that often. It just was, it was. But we interrupt this broadcast for breaking news, and like I think that's almost like not a joke to younger generations, as if they're making fun of it. They just don't understand it. Where it's just like that
No.
was, and probably because my mom's anxieties and paranoias kicked in. My mom had that like everybody stop, and sometimes it might have been like the zoo got a new elephant. Yeah, but like most of the time it was really bad stuff. Look at this. Serenity Jane says my grandfather was one of the engineers who warned about the O-rings on the Challenger. Watch that doc on Netflix, which is a J.J. Abrams produced doc. This is a tragic part of the story, so I'm not excited about that, Serenity Jane, but that is fascinating to me. Speaking of just tragedies that truly didn't need to happen. So there you go. There you go. News, yeah, that's true. Michael's right. News doesn't break anymore. It's constantly bombarding us. Yes,
that's true. Yes, for us adults, if I'm on blue sky, I have to tear myself away from it because I'm like, this is horrible, which it is, but it's almost too much. I can't absorb all of this stuff being thrown at us. It's a lot.
Which is I've got some folks is swinging it back to Star Wars for a second. I got some folks in my life who Andor is so good at being upfront and real with what's going on in its story that it connects very clearly to what's going on in the world. I got some people like not right now. Like not right now. Maybe in a little bit. Which is fascinating because Andor, as Tony Gilroy has said in many interviews, these episodes seem relevant in an eerie way. But we wrote these 5 years ago. We're talking about history, and this is the history that keeps happening. So maybe we just pay attention to that. But it feels so real.
I agree with that. I really do feel like it's, I don't want to say timeless. I thought it was going to be more on the nose to these current events, and that's why I was worried about watching it. But when I'm watching it now, there is this kind of safe distance where I can pull out things, but it's not just like, let me comment on everything that's happening right now for the reason that you mentioned.
Yeah. My girlfriend gave me a knowing look during the Oathkeeper scene, and there you go. Absolutely. Let's get to some other Star Wars questions here. But if you guys have any thoughts on space and Star Wars and the sci-fi nature of it, it is definitely there. I don't want to sound like I'm saying there isn't science in Star Wars. There very much is. And George is absolutely interested in that stuff. George is a techie. George is a car guy. Yes. He's a tinkerer. He is all that stuff. So if you ever have a chance to talk to him outside of TCM, you either go with Sabaro or you go with the tech stuff. You don't go with the Star Wars stuff.
Right, exactly.
There you go. And yeah, Dr. Professor says it right here. The pace of oppression outpaces our ability to comprehend, something to that effect. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. True words there. Jay from Nowhere has a question here. We know the Battle of Scarif is the first full-scale battle of the Galactic Civil War. Do you think we'll see X-Wing TIE Fighter action in the last two arcs, however small scale it may be? So speculating, as we've said before, we are a podcast that has not seen the entire season of Andor. We did not get the screeners, so any of our predictions are true predictions. Nothing that is designed to either shelter the truth or play along and score points, which in the past, years ago, I was part of a show in which people pretended not to know to score prediction points. We don't do that here. How did you know the Emperor's coming back? Anyways, I think there's some case to be made here, Jen, that we might get a little bit more Star Warsy action. This season, starting with a TIE fighter and stormtroopers, just felt really refreshing for a series that has done a great job of just finding its own little corner on the ground. A lot of stuff was absolutely present in season one, but I felt that was a great start to the season, and I hope to see it. I hope to see. I don't know what I hope to, it is a skirmish about an escape, something. Do we get Mothma to the ghost or something like that? I think they know. I'd really love to see how they would use it. And yeah, we've seen Rogue One, but there's a lot of hands in that meal being prepped there. Not just Gilroy, but to see he and his team, like season one, that TIE fighter on Aldhani was so effective, as everyone credited at the time, of just flying over, the sound of oppression coming low over you. I'd love to see what they do with that in terms of like a dogfight or a skirmish or something like that.
And didn't Tony Gilroy mention that? Maybe I'm making that up. That he was like, there is going to be more action in space. He did so many interviews and he talked to so many places. So yeah, the first sequence of Andor season 2, I was like, oh wow. And as my husband said, he's like, wow, this feels like Star Wars. And I was like, yeah. Oh right, okay, I get it. And it is a much more literally grounded show. But I do think it would feel right, the maybe last few episodes, to get a little something. I don't know if it's maybe as big of a battle, but like I like that, a skirmish in space.
A skirmish. Yeah, Sabersmith points out something I agree with. Those fixed camera shots on the ships in episode 5 were so good. I really like that. Similar to some of the stuff I really loved in Force Awakens. I love some of the way they shot some of the dogfighting there. And then Michael brings up something I think is right. This question touches on, quote, how much of Mothma's Rebel arc gets reshot for this. And I think I think we'll have more context. I don't expect to see a ton of it on screen in live action. And if any of you haven't seen, I think if you're listening, a ForceCenter fan at this point, you've seen Rebels. But that episode, that Mothma speech, it's so good. But it's full. The episode is remembered for the speech because it's huge in the story of the rebellion, but it's got a lot of action. It's got I think Gold Leader's there, right? Gold Leader, Dutch Vander's there. So yeah, it's got some good Star Wars action. So I could see not a reshot, but like an extension, a lead into. I don't know how close they're going to get to it.
That would be interesting. Can you imagine Tony Gilroy watching that episode of Rebels? I want to imagine it, and how they could mine that. It would be great to see it in live action in some way, a connection.
Yeah, just around the corner, another angle on it there. Who knows? The only thing, some of the stuff I don't like to do that. I do not like the trailer checklist game, and props to those that do. I think I used to do it more in the old days and not care about the spoilers. But there's been some like, ooh, that's probably when Mothma's running that I've already seen in the show that I was wrong about. Some actually good, like, oh, that shot looks like she's running. Oh yeah, no. Yeah, and Saber points out, I love this little fact, Jen. Do you that Erskine from Star Wars Rebels is in live action? That's her attaché, her aide. That's the guy. He says he's talking to Luthen and says he's from Naboo. He's a Rebels character.
Okay, all right. So they've talked to Tony about that, about bringing in some of Rebels stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely. Gwen's here. Hello, Gwen. I don't expect to see anything from the Rebels episode other than the Senate speech, which you only get a snippet of in the episode. Yeah. That actually might be I think that's going to be, to actually see her F you, I'm out of here speech. I think it's going to be great. Looking forward to that. It's all weird. I'm looking forward to finally seeing the Gorman massacre, which Jen, I still don't know how to phrase that correctly, but
yeah, it's been built up. There's a lot of expectations. We have how many episodes left? 6? Am I right?
Six. Okay. 6.
All right. A lot can happen.
A lot can happen.
Will, I like this. My headcanon is that Tony Gilroy is a big Rebels fan. LOL. Yeah.
Yes.
I can see it.
Yes, I think there's some truth to the fact that after 10 years of playing around in this universe, and from the Rogue One days where he was there was that one interview, a little snippet of interview, could have been taken out of context, but it just came like, I don't even like Star Wars, and I saved Rogue One type of answer. That rubbed me the wrong way. But over the years, and his energy on this press tour has been infectious. I think he's really proud of this and proud of everyone else's work. I'm really a fan of the show, but I just think this time around he has a little bit of more of like, this is kind of fun. Maybe because he knows he's leaving it.
I mean, maybe.
And he's very clear about I don't need to come back to Star Wars. But maybe he's like, guess what? I bought an action figure. Ooh,
It's his senior year of high school with Star Wars, and he's almost out. He's having fun. They're doing fun events at school.
Yeah, Tony Gilroy's senior prank day. He's going to do a prank on Lucasfilm.
Oh my gosh, we had somebody who turned our swimming pool. I forget what color he made. It was a green. I don't know. It was a big deal. And then he streaked naked throughout the campus. He was Mormon, so it was really shocking that he pulled this prank. I did not expect it from him.
He win it. He win it. That's amazing. Yeah, our senior. This is why I always say I don't like pranks. I don't like taking the one thing we have between us all, which is trust, and intentionally breaking it for laughs. I've never been a fan of pranks, especially for my class in 1994 at our high school. Some of the seniors, not all, their senior prank was to cut down a tree in the quad. Like, ha ha. It was a tree planted like 10 to 15 years earlier for a student that died of cancer. The family had planted it. So that's why, don't prank, kids. Don't prank.
No.
Tony Gilroy, don't prank.
No. Although I used to love watching the Carbonaro Effect. Do you guys know that show? I used to watch it on True TV. I don't know why. I just would put it on. I think this is when I was early on as a
You're a
parent.
pranker. You're a pranker.
He did it in a really nice way where it's not like, ha ha, you. It's like, I don't know. It comes from a good place. Those kind of pranks I like.
Good pranks. All right. All right. Oh, yeah. No, I somehow stumbled onto some Instagram reels where a guy like kind of like comes up to people and it seems like it's going to be an awkward prank, and then he just gives them cash and changes their lives. I don't know how much to believe any of that, but it was nice. It was. I've had a really bad month. It was some hope. Yeah. So good pranks, Jen.
Some good pranks.
Can we? Yeah.
Yeah,
go.
go
What
ahead.
did Cameron say?
Well,
I want to start the Jen Landa Good Pranks YouTube channel.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Cameron, I did not blow a circuit. He was a kid who was kind of a jokester. He was Mormon, so he was very straight-laced, right? Didn't drink or anything like that. But one day we all came into school and they discovered that the pool had been dyed, with some sort of dye of some sort to make it like green or some funky color. And then to top it off, he ran around the school streaking naked. And I believe he got suspended. But it was just like he was in his senior year that he did that.
He had a statement to make. Cameron says, "No, this is a reference to Last Jedi, Jen. We're not calling you crazy." Yeah.
I was like, "No, I didn't blow a circuit. I promise. I'm just a little sleep deprived."
Yeah. Well, Again, you were up for Parent of the Year, Jen, because you go into detail tomorrow, but in making the Padme headdress and the Jar Jar headdress and getting early to a screening, getting two kids up, dressed in a costume, right? Just was what? Yep. You were up till 4 a.m, Jen. I want you to be up for Parent of the Year.
No, I did it for my daughter. I really did, because she was so excited, and she is the younger sister, and she has to go with us to her older sister's basketball games, and everything's always for her big sister. And I was like, no. Her name is Alea. She really believes that she is like Princess Leia. And so she was so proud I could get emotional, so proud to wear this costume. She let me put on her makeup. She wore the dress the whole day. In fact, she didn't want to take off the dress or the makeup when we got home. And I was like, "We got to take a shower." She's like, "No." She was happy to get the headdress off. She's like, "Mama, it's as heavy."
Look, if you get a anointed queen for the day, I wouldn't hand over the crown that easily either.
Yeah, she's so quiet around strangers, and she was just walking around like just loving it. It was really neat, because people were. I know. I was like, shoot, am I cultivating a theater kid?
Yeah, I was going to say, you got an actor on your hands. That's exactly the problem. All of us. If you hang out with me, I'm boring until I get a microphone in front of me. Then I'll actually talk. So yeah, that's dangerous, Jen.
Oh my gosh, did I ever tell you I waited on Steve Martin? Many years ago.
Hero?
Oh my gosh, my hero too. And I waited on him, and the other servers prepped me. They're like, just so you know, he's not funny in person.
No.
He's very reserved. And it was true. He barely looked at me. He had his laptop and he was doing some work, and he explained his usual sandwich, his usual tuna sandwich that he got, and a nice tea. Thank you very much. And that was the only interaction. And then at the very end, check please. Just did not want to interact.
See? Yeah. But not in an a-hole way. Just like he's
like, I'm not here to perform or be on for you. I'm just living my life, and I want my tuna sandwich.
Yeah. I want a tuna fish sandwich. I got some work to do. I respect it. No, I know some folks who have worked with him. I knew via another friend, someone who actually dated him years ago and may have kind of been the shop girl inspiration.
Yeah.
And everyone, good word. Everyone is good word, and everyone's like, yeah, no, he just kind of wants to read magazines and talk about art, and then he does the comedy thing over there. I respect it.
In
Yeah.
contrast, I waited
Yeah.
on Diane Keaton, who is a huge inspiration for me, and she is
Mm.
just as kooky and fun as you would imagine that she
Okay,
is
so
on
that I can
screen.
see.
Yeah, right? She was so great, and she was wearing these gloves, just like she always wears gloves and scarves. Ah, I love her.
Welcome to ForceCenter returns to celebrity stories. Here on we've talked who are our most I've interacted with Paris Hilton. That's probably my
Oh,
weirdest from the security days.
uh-huh.
I was in executive protection for one night for Pink and Minnie Driver and
No,
Jewel.
no.
I guarded Jewel one night. I've had a lot of those weird experiences. But you being in the service industry for a while in this town, you've maybe got too many stories. You might be able to write a tell-all book.
To me, show me how you are with people in customer service. Los Angeles Center, 89M4. Yes, 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 exactly. This is Los Angeles Hollywood Center.
Let me tell you how you get to the Academy Museum. You take Fairfax, and then you go on 6. You go on 6th Street, where the tar is still coming up from the tar pits, and you turn in that parking lot.
Yes, yes. But how people treat treat their servers is really a reflection, in my opinion, of their character. And I won't name some
Mm-hmm.
names of people that were so rude, and so I'm just like, I'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a lot of great people. Halle Berry, so nice. Um, Ellen Pompeo was like so kind. Like she chatted with me. I was like, oh my gosh, you see me as like a human being and not just somebody to like bring you
Right.
your pasta. I have the tea. Yes, Karen.
Jen has the tea. She
I
has
do.
the tea.
I some current Bravo celebrities if you're into the reality show space.
Yeah. I was around when I was the security director of the farmers market. That was, for whatever reason, the hub at the time, the mid 2000s. A ton of real world people
Oh
would
my
come there.
gosh.
So I was around, and he'd already been in the WWE by this point, but I was around Miz a lot. No,
Miz.
nothing bad to say there, but like Trishelle, a lot of the real world Vegas people, and then a lot of them actually had jobs there because they'd moved to LA to pursue acting and stuff. It's just a weird, but it's a different. They have a different energy, a little pick me energy. Versus there was one time, Tom Maypother Cruz, the fourth or whatever his name is, was there and like got coffee.
What?
And my former girlfriend at the time served him coffee, and no one saw him. No one paid attention to him.
What?
No one paid attention to him.
No.
But yet then you have, God bless her, Paris showed up with 60 cars behind her with cameras chasing her. And there's just versus that. It's fascinating. LA Center. Brady's going to call in with bus tips soon.
Oh my gosh. That's so, you know who I saw, who I was like, oh my gosh, she's gorgeous. And I didn't know who she was at first, was Charlize Theron. I saw her at we share the same pediatrician. And I was like, wow, that woman's so beautiful and tall. And I was like, wait a minute, that's Charlize Theron. It's always weird when they see you and then they see that look that you know who they are. And they have that look where it's like, please don't talk to me. I'm just trying to live my life. And I respect that.
I think on the Blather, I've told the story of accidentally stalking Allison Brie and not intending it, but this is at the end of the community run, and we were at a Ralph's. There's a couple famous Ralphs in town. There's Rockstar Ralph's, and I was at what is called the porn star Ralph's for good reasons. It's by Vivid. And across from like the self-checkout was Allison Brie. And I did that, and I was like, and I called my friend. I was like, "Hey, Allison Brie's here," and I just kind of walked out, but she happened to walk at the same time. And then she got in her car, and then I was like, I'm being, but I look at it, and there was that look, that eye look, and she just kind of went, like, I was like, I gotta go, Joe, I gotta go.
She saw me.
Allison Brie knows. Allison Brie knows.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
So there we go. Matthew Stokes is right. We'll get back to Star Wars, everybody. We're just chit-chatting on a Monday. I needed it. I've had it's not I'm not good right now, and I just need to hang out. Matthew Stokes says no one recognizes Tom Cruise anymore if he's not hanging on the side of a plane. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true indeed. Yeah.
This is fun. I sat on a plane next to Cindy Lauper once, and she was fantastic and cool. We chat a little bit about traveling, but she was great. Aww.
I would imagine that.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. No, they're people, celebrities. They're people just like us.
They're
Can you
people, but when they're George Lucas and you're standing a few feet next to him, it's like, wow, they're George Lucas.
imagine? I mean, I ran into him at the Grove that one time. I was leaving the Grove, and he was walking in with someone, and we like brushed shoulders, and it was just amazing that it just was normal. It was just a dude, probably like, yeah, you want to go to Cheesecake Factory?
What would George order? I wonder what George. I really do wonder what his
At Cheesecake Factory. What would George Lucas order? He definitely is going to get the mac and cheese balls, the fried mac and cheese balls.
Yeah. And he's going to top it off with a cheesecake. Maybe my Snickers cheesecake, which I love so much.
Yeah. Do you think George makes jokes like bad, like sir, room for dessert? No, I had mine here. Like, does George? He's got dad humor.
Yeah, or like when your plate is clean and you're like, oh, how was everything? Oh, I hated it. That's always
yeah. It looks at the empty plate. Clearly, I hated it. Yeah, that's George. That's George. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the Hammersmith. I agree. I
feel like George is a burger guy. I think that's fair. Fair. Tully Quinn got to hug Brandy Carlisle once. See, love that. Ooh, heaven, do you know my name? There you go. Amaranth says, I live in Kansas City. We all just assume we're going to see Taylor everywhere. Yeah, that's right. Tay-Tay's showing up. That's the thing about L.A. 27 years in L.A. Every time you think how that person looks like, it's probably the person. So
it's probably the person.
That's it. Yep. All right. Star Wars questions, Gen 2, but I love other center questions. If you've got other center questions, we're here for about 20 more minutes. Post them. I want to talk other things today. Ken Plume has a great Star Wars question. Thanks for super chat, buddy. Top 3 favorite Jabba's Palace characters go. A mini Star Wars ranked. I don't know why Ken's winking at us. He's winking at us in that comment. Jabba's Palace characters, mini Star Wars ranked. Who are some of your favorites, Jen? Because you're kind of an expert on this.
Oh my gosh! See, I just go to the classics, the easy pickers. So obviously Jabba. I had to go to the get some water during the Phantom Menace, and when I came back during the pod race scene, and my 5-year-old's like, I saw Jabba.
Speaking of celebrity sightings, yeah.
Yes. So I love Jabba, as I've shared. Of course, Salacious B. Crumb. I feel like it's so obvious. I love Bib Fortuna just because he's so repulsive, and there's something interesting about
Poor
that.
Bib. Yeah.
Right? His fingers, his teeth. Everything is just wrong. But I also love like Malakili, the Rancor Keeper. I love that whole sequence. I love Ula. I love
Tragedy of Ula.
I mean, how do you pick one?
Well, and for like a question like this, and we've gone on some of the rank stuff deeper on it, but Jan B says, I love me my Gamorrean guards. I love the Gamorrean guards, especially as I've gotten older, and especially did a career in public safety. The Gamorrean guards in Return of the Jedi, and actually just because it's their face, they got resting grumpy face and resting I just want to get home. All right, I'm just doing my job face. I love that they're dedicated to the cause, but they just kind of got the I don't even want to be here today vibe, and I just love that about them in Return of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
just working. They're just working stiffs,
just collecting the paycheck. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if they believe in the cause. No. I just think at some point Jabba tapped the market on hiring good Gamorrean guards to be his guards, Yeah. Because again, we call them Gamorrean guards because the figure, but it's to those Gamorreans and guards. Which is why when I saw taller, thinner ones wrestling in Mandalorian, I was initially like, I don't know about that.
It was quite a sight. It's grown on me though. I do like it now. I have to highlight this, Jay from Nowhere, Salacious, specifically when he's watching Jabba's tail like a cat with a string. I love that detail. There are just so many great details like that in Star Wars, whether it's that one or it's where R2 and Empire is like peeking through Yoda's he like lifts up the window of Yoda's hut.
Well, especially because we know now that R2's like, what is going on? He knows me. Why is he acting like he doesn't know me? Salacious V. Crumb. And then we didn't we learn yesterday on Instagram that Haley Williams of Paramore, that's her favorite character. Yeah, that's her favorite Star Wars
Really?
character. Yeah, or that she posted something about it. It was like a text or something yesterday. I thought that was great.
Aw.
Um, there you go. So you guys can answer that. Yeah, Cameron's right. I don't get paid enough to deal with Jedi, said the Gamorrean guard. Yeah. Oh, the Tully Queds are the Boamar monks are creepy.
Mm.
Scared me as a kid, but I love them now. I love the stories there.
Yeah.
Couple questions here. We'll get to this one from Molly. JC, thank you for the super chat. Classy super chat alert. What happened
Cool.
after Cyril turned off the lights? No real question. Just sending support for my favorite Star Wars pod crew. Yeah, I love that scene. But as we did the deeper dive, obviously last week, like I still think the turn out the lights, that whole it's played. It's not played for comedy. There's some comedy there because it's the moment of the character. But it is such an example of their inability to have any kind of real intimacy and their inability to know how to connect. I don't necessarily mean that in the bad way, but Imperial versus Rebels, but Bix, Cassian, lights on, hands touching connection versus lights off. I can't even look at you. Like there's just a lot going on. It was fascinating to see it play out in Star Wars.
Yeah. I for a moment I was like, wait, what are they gonna do? And then I'm like, oh, of course.
Jen's like, well, you can't cook dinner like that. What's happening? What's
happening? Yeah, I was like, are they gonna chat in the dark? What's going on? It's like 7-year-old me.
Well, look, it's all kind of new ground for Star Wars, right? Isn't Andor breaking barriers that have never been broken in Star Wars before? Yeah, there it is.
Right.
There it is.
Exactly.
Question.
G.
Yeah, question from our good pal Molly Damon. A happy public belated birthday to the great Molly Damon. Did y'all watch Tales of the Underworld yet? Thoughts? So we did. We go into, I won't even say detail tomorrow on the news episode, but a tease for tomorrow's new episode. But I knew we were going to kind of probably get the question here, Jen. So quick answer. Yes, I did watch all 6 episodes. You?
Yes, I did watch all 6 episodes. I'm going to follow. I'm going to follow your lead on this one. I really liked it, but yeah.
Yeah. I'll start by saying this. I love the format. I hope this goes on and is a regular May 4th tradition or release them wherever they want. So I love the format, and I thought these were really good episodes. I love seeing more Star Wars animation, love seeing the crew get back together, and great writers. And I love that Dave can sketch some stuff on a napkin on a flight up to San Francisco or down to Burbank. And while he's waiting to get a sandwich at the Guy Fieri's at the Burbank airport, which is class, my favorite restaurant, that this can become a reality, that things that are still on his mind, stories that are left behind, they can get answered. That's always going to work for me. These episodes, it's not that they didn't work for me. Again, a lot going on. I didn't necessarily watch them with a complete open mind and heart. I kind of had to get through it. Rewatched the Cad Bane stuff this morning. Did like it liked it the first day, but liked it more the second time. Yeah, I don't know, Jen. It was they were kind of flat for me, and that's just kind of the truth I'm in.
Yeah, I really love Asajj Ventress, and I think I was hoping for a little bit more. I too went back and watched the Cad Bane episodes a second time. Thank you, Molly.
Thank you, Molly.
Yeah, exactly. The Cad Bane episodes, there was a little bit more going on where I was like, oh wait, what's happening? Okay. So I really had to focus in on that more. And I felt like there just was more of an interesting storyline. It's my own expectations for what I was hoping for Asajj Ventress.
Yeah. And with the, and again, sorry for anyone who's going to listen on the news show tomorrow. We spent some time with it. And there's a lot to dive in terms of the themes. We could ForceCenter the hell out of the themes, and there's a lot there. I did a lot of valuable stuff. But also with the Cad Bane ones being so Western, because that's the character, and it's fun. I think I had no problem with it. The fact that there was a train coming into town at high noon, I thought it was great. But because of that, I think there was a sense of I had too much of, I think I know what's coming. And that's not something that immediately turns me off to stories, because sometimes I'm like, Andor, we know what's coming with Cassian. We've seen his end. That's less important than the journey there. So that never trips me up. But I think for this format, it kind of was like, all right, I get where you're going, and I'll emotionally check in later. And that just kind of hurt the viewing for me.
Yeah, there was a moment I talk about on the episode today. I can't remember what what order everything is, but there was a scene where it felt like it was a 1980s cop drama, and I believe there was even like a saxophone kind of playing, and so it did feel
Yeah.
very genre heavy, which
Yeah.
I think did kind of
Yeah.
telegraph where the story was going.
Yeah.
But if you're, maybe newer to Star Wars, or I don't know, it might work better for other people.
Well,
Or
and if you're a
not
Cad,
newer, but like,
yeah, and if you're a Cad Bane fan, and I consider myself one, but if you're like our buddy Rick Villanueva, who's in our ForceCenter Discord and has a great show himself, like he's a big Cad Bane says guy. There's a lot there. There's a lot to these stories, and the Ventress thing. I thought I liked the handling of her coming back. I thought it was what I expected. Wish Obi-Wan had something to say, but I guess he was emotional, didn't want to speak. I liked all that too. It wasn't even about expectations not being met, or having what I thought was going to happen versus what they did put up. Because we always say here, engage with the art that's presented to you. But there's a little bit of hey, if we're just going to have her in the Shadow Lord, Maul show, which I hope is the case. Maybe I just rather get there than feeling like it's not even a setup, because I don't like the hey, it's a setup thing. Is Broom Kid going to be the hero of the new trilogy? No. It doesn't work like that. But it just felt like there's so much around her story that they're going to get to that I would have liked a different kind of snapshot into what was going on right here.
I agree. And as Molly said, hoping the Ventress stuff is setting up for her return in the Maul show. And somebody else was mentioning that. It does feel like it's more of a setup, and just like we're going to spend a little bit of time with her, but we're going to save the other stuff, the deeper stuff, for something else.
Yeah, and I'll say this, it was very cool, especially after a couple years of speculation now following the Kenobi show and a lot of the other stuff with the Path and the Hidden Path. It was cool to hear it said, and hear it said pretty plainly, and having a lot to do with Quinlan Voss. I really want to be clear. I enjoy these episodes. It just was I get one of those things too, when I love the Dooku episodes. I think the Barris stuff is wonderful. I love the Ahsoka stuff and the Morgan stuff too, but like the Dooku, those episodes are three of my favorite little Star Wars stories. And sometimes, you band releases one song and then they go try something with the next song and you're like, great, but I like the other one better. That's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. I agree. And Gwen, Ken and Jen being lukewarm about shorts has become a tradition. I loved them. I'm glad you did. I think it's just a me thing with the shorts. I really do. I don't know. I liked the Ahsoka one as well. I don't know. Maybe I just want a longer format.
Yeah, it could be.
This is just me.
I like the format, and but go ahead. Like the Dooku stuff is. I think it's some of Dave's best story work, and I know the other folks usually write them. I can't remember if he wrote those one. The Dooku stuff and the format. I'd love to every year, just 6 episodes to sit down and have the little snapshot of these characters' lives. I just felt, especially with the Ventress one, we want so much more of the snapshot, and we got this little Polaroid right here that I'm excited for more because I love the character. Ventress is great.
Yeah.
To Molly Damon's point, love like the Cad Bane story, which shows how generational trauma repeats itself, and now we know just how bad of a guy Colby Cad Bane is. Yes. He's also a deadbeat dad. Look at this. he's everything.
Ugh, walk away. Brutal.
Yeah, so good stuff there. All right, we're about out of here. It's a quicker edition. So Joseph is out today. He'll be back for the Andor review. We got news tomorrow, talking about the Finn and Janna book. Also, more details on our Star Wars adventures and all that kind of stuff here, Jen. But any other questions that you see out there about where you want to go?
We starred extra titles, although I don't know if I have any thoughts. I'm very curious to why the overall thematic story of the Maul show is going to be. We haven't really had an entire story with the title character being the bad guy. Yeah, I
think exploring, as they've even already said in some of the release around the show, like he's a tragic character. I think as opposed to Palpatine, you and I have both been on I don't need more Palpatine. I think Joseph too as well. I get it. I can see what's there. I think there's some value in exploring Palpatine as a young lad, and I love the Lucino novel for doing that. But I don't know if I need it now. I get it. I know where he is. Cad Bane too. Like I liked his story. If I didn't know his origins, I could probably assume some of it too. But we got it, and it was good. But I think with Maul, the ability to explore the true tragedies of him and then analyze it. Have it analyze what being, not just what a villain in Star Wars is, but those in our world who don't see the problems they cause or see what they're involved with, or just who don't understand, who can't look in the mirror and truly analyze why they are, end of sentence. And I'm fascinated to see how, without it making Maul likable or lovable, keeping him being a Shadow Lord. But we already know enough of his story even now, going back to, his feelings of why not me? Why did the Jedi not find me? I don't like this life. I could have been something else. I wasn't discovered, then pawned off, and then turned into all those things we know, then being sliced in two. I think it's a good chance to drill down on who he is and the dangers of that. For me, an example, going over Game of Thrones, is how much I love Stannis Baratheon. But I love that there's this great lesson for how not to be and how to lose yourself. And that happens a lot in a lot of shows like that. You could do that with Maul, as well as have some fun action and some lore and all this good stuff.
It really is an interesting dance, and we see it so much with Andor and the characters of Dedra. Cyril is a little bit more quote unquote likable, but I don't really like them. I enjoy watching their journey, and it's fun to kind of like see their misfortunes or like just these terrible things that they're up to. But it's just fun to watch them as performers. I'm excited for Sam Witwer just to hear his performance. I think it's going to be great.
No, and Molly as well, saying seeing Maul witness Palpatine's full plan play out would be really cool to see. Yeah, and just what that does to, how much of it is Maul going, oopsie, and how much of it is is it Maul going, well, why not? Why that could have been me. I could have been the number 2 to this. I could have been enjoying the fruits of this and trying to create his own power and getting it with the syndicates in the criminal underworld. So I think that will be interesting. There we go. All right, final super chat of the day comes from Ken Plume. Jenna Molly squadding up with us in Fortnite when Plume's trying to recruit everyone for Fortnite.
I want to do it.
Can you play yet as Dark Jar Jar? Dark Jar Jar is there.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, playable soon, if not now. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I play as Lady Gaga most of the time, so I'm not switching my skin. But that might be the time for you to get in, Jen.
Yeah, I've never played Fortnite. I don't know what to do. I'll be Darth Jar Jar. Sure.
Hey, just run around and survive as Darth Jar Jar.
Okay, I'll try.
There you go. Oh boy, Molly would also play as Gaga. We could both be Gaga. Yeah. I play as other characters too. I love playing as Gaga. I love playing as Padme. I love playing as the Brie Larson character. She's in Fortnite, not as Brie Larson, but as a character, but it's her. And I love playing that so that when I eliminate chuds in the game, they've been eliminated by Brie Larson. That they have to live with that. Those red eyes, thumbnail goofs.
Do they say mean things?
Oh, I don't know. I don't hear
do
anyone.
The chat?
But
Okay.
I just love. Like I hate getting eliminated by bananas. Like there's Mr. McPeely or whatever. I don't like when the bananas eliminate me. So I can only imagine that some chud in his gaming chair is like Brie Larson. Like I just like it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
So there you go. All right, a lot of fun. We're out of here today. Thank you, Matthew Stokes, for sending some love in with the super chats as well. Simple pleasures, as Quinn said. Simple pleasures indeed. There you go. David, it's Brie Larson's character from Room. Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh,
that's
from
what it is.
Room.
No,
wow.
It's not.
No.
But it should.
Oh my gosh. See, I don't even know anything about Fortnite. I'm like, wow, okay, they're bringing that one back. Sure.
But it's the way the Fortnite got, like the fact, like I wouldn't be surprised. Like it's so gone beyond where it started, where you're just like, you're running around. Like I run around sometimes as Chewbacca in Air Jordan sneakers with Yoda on my back. Like, what world are we in, Jen? What world are we in?
Are you screenshotting this? Are you taking pictures? I want to see this. Post them on Instagram.
Oh, I do videos sometimes too.
You do videos?
I have a channel that I have
it?
never developed called Fortnite Fightcast. So I have clips. I'll do sports announcers over them, and then I just got bored of doing it, so the channel's dead. But yeah,
I see it now.
It's a sickness, Jen. Don't encourage me. Every time I win, I take a photo of it. My phone has now over like 700 photos of me winning.
No.
Someone suggested I do like an art book with it, so maybe I will.
I love
All right, everybody. We did it.
Gosh. Okay.
We did it. Thanks for hanging out with us live today. Joseph back Thursday for the Andor deep dive with us as well. You know where to find us. Links down below here if you're watching on YouTube, on social media at ForceCenter Pod. Support our Patreon page if you want. That's it. Support us. You know where to go. We do it. Out of here. Bye.